to come in early and get this together. She spent 10 minutes, child,
Power on.
trying to figure
Bluetooth
this
mode.
out. Get you. I'm trying to work out the darkness that is happening here. But I think I'm pretty clear. Oh, hold on, FB. Get your chair, get your weights. Line up if you're walking wall to wall. Line up if you're walking wall to wall. And let's get this party started. Let's hear. I'm walking, oh yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Yep, 7 o'clock. Thank you for the company. Get your chair, get your weights. Line up if you're walking wall to wall. Let's get this party started. I'm having these light issues, but they said natural light is the best light. So I gotta work on my natural light. I should be just able to click over and turn this off, but that's not how it is in my world. It don't work like that for me. Great light isn't, y'all. Okay. Camera time. I had to go get my notes. Here we go. Yes, indeed. It's getting better. You can see my feet moving. You can see me moving. Real slow. Yes, y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend, tell a friend. And yes, I'm live on FB. Yes, indeed, y'all. I started on FB Live. Then after a year, after a year, I switched over to YouTube Live, and then I just uploaded on FB. And now, since at the end of the year, Emancipation Proclamation Eve, I won't be walking on video anymore. I said, you know what? Do FB Live and see if you can do YouTube Live too. And I did it, y'all. I did it. And I'm doing it. I am doing it. That's what doing it is. It ain't easy, but it's worth it. Thanks for coming on the walk. Thanks for like, comment, and sharing. And of course, you put your headsets on. I walk slow, I'm talking. You walk and talk at almost 65. And see if you can do it. I got to press this gut in to make a lot of it happen. Everything comes from the core. I've heard that for years at the gym, but now it's a default. You want to stay balanced? Engage your core. That's your balance. You want strength? Engage your core. That's the balance. If you want to walk fast for cardio, that's what you do. You walk fast for cardio. But if you want muscle and tone, you walk slowly. And I said for the month of June, so when I look back at this, I wanted to be able to say, to look at myself and say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. You always forgive yourself. That's the beauty of it. And when people say, I think sickness is not forgiving yourself. People say, oh, I forgive everybody, but I don't forgive me. Like, wow, that's a little harsh. All right now. Pride Month. Pride Month. I know I'm losing it. I've lost so many in my cult talk. I understand. Not only the walking slow, not only being an old black woman, but talk against cults is a bit of a turn off for others. I can understand that. And on a gay pride, I follow T.S. Madison. She's here on Facebook. She's on YouTube. I found her on YouTube. Though at the time she did have pages on Facebook and everywhere, Patreon and all that stuff, Periscope, and when she names them, she rattles them off. I'm like, wow, look at all the social media networks, you know. And she's so upset because the cults don't allow, are not very accepting of transgender women. I think they'd be more accepting of transgender men because it is a male, the whole cult religious thing is male orientated. So I don't think that transgender men have that big a problem. I just don't see it. That's why, you know, anyway. So for Black Pride, and I have been saying it to T.S. Madison and others, and I believe that's what separates the community, LGBTQ, though I'm not in it. I had a transgender mother, if you will, when I was in my 20s, and she was in her 30s, and she saw little me just all turning on myself because I just left a cult that basically said women are nothing, you know, other than having sex and making babies. That's it. That's why as I got older, I was like, whew, it's fitting to get rough, because you're only an asset as a woman in this society if a man can hump on you. And if they can't hump on you, you serve no purpose. What they say, Abraham was old, but he got young women. That's what the book said. The book says nothing about an old woman getting young men. So you see, it's male orientated. So I want to say to the transgender community, start your own cult, because that's what it is. She has millions of followers on Facebook and YouTube. If talking to Jesus and God and being accepted by is also important, do your own cult. Do your own cult. Call your own services. Or follow what you were raised by doing in Florida. If that's what you want to do. If you want to be a transgender starting a church that's against women, and that's another thing I don't understand, that you guys don't understand. In cults, women are not favored. So why would you as a transgender think yourself to be favored? It's not. They don't like you, they don't like me either. There's no difference. We're both fuckable. But I can have babies and you can't. That's the only difference. Oh, here's another one. Now, what I found from having a transgender, when I look back at how my connection, because I had forgotten my connection as, you know, you hit 30. I didn't do anything bad as a teenager, so I didn't have any bad memories or anything. I was able to move on. But you wonder why you're... I can cry when I see, like what is it, Holiday Heart, or RuPaul did this Netflix one where she was helping this little kid, and I cried through stuff like that, and I couldn't understand why I was crying. I felt it. I knew what they was going through. I knew what they was going through. Isn't that something? So I had to go back to why am I so connected? Other people can look at it and they have no connection. And it's not empathy. I had a personal connection to it and I couldn't remember why or how. And it was through Martin. Martin. She came to me and said, it's great to be a woman. And I looked at her and said, it is? I just left the Southern Baptist cult. And they told me it's like a curse to be a woman. And he was like, no. She was like, no, it's great to be a woman. It's great to feel good. And she went through this whole thing. And I remember looking at her wide-eyed. I had never had another woman talk to me about the joys of being a woman. I kept saying to myself, yeah. See, because in my 20s, when I spoke to women in my circle in Bed-Stuy, when women were young and looked good, it was to get men and to get what they could out of men. So, that was like nothing to be hoorah about. I didn't want to look good so I could get a man so he could pay my bills. And like I said, I just left the cult, so I was just like, oh. And Martin was like, wait a minute here now, Vicki. Wait a minute. It's great to be a woman. It's wonderful to be a woman. And I kept looking at him saying, it is, Martin? It really is? And he would say, I'm sorry, she would say, yes, I have to get to the pronouns. She would say, yes. And we did nails, we did makeup, we did hair, we walked the catwalk, we did the spins. Girl. He said my wrist was so stiff like a man. I was like, I didn't know it was a difference. I thought just my wrist was there to work because that's, in the Southern Baptist cult, that's another thing all women are good for, is work. You are raised to take care of a man. My grandmother's whole thing, if you can't cook, how you gonna get a man? If you can't clean, how you gonna keep a man? If you can't do laundry, how you gonna wash a man's clothes? If you can't shop, how you gonna feed a man? That was my whole bringing up in that cult. It was my whole function was to be there for a man. Not me. She didn't say, oh, you got to learn to cook and you got to feed yourself, as I told my daughter. Look at here, Linda. You better learn how to make something so you won't starve. She didn't say that. My grandmother said, everything I do is to please a man. Had nothing to do with me. So then I meet Martin, and she is all about her. And that was another thing that threw me off. I remember I talked about it on Bed-Stuy Brownstone Stories. I talk about it. I remember looking at Martin, and he said, oh, it's so great to be a woman, or something like that. Like she was very happy. And I looked at her and I said, it is? I was like, it is? I had no idea. I'm a woman. I ain't had no joy. I didn't know about that. I was taught that I was cursed. My whole body, even my breasts, they used to take them and put them in this Playtex thing. And as I found out as you got older, it was not only to keep them, as my grandmother said, from jiggling or moving, but It's also that when the men reach out and touch you as they do, you have a barrier there. You know, so like if they touch your breast, they're not really touching your breast. That whole text shield is there. And you just say, oh, nasty, and just move on. When they rub your butt, they wasn't feeling nothing but a girdle. A Playtex girdle that oftentimes I wanted to pass out. Often. Couldn't get any air in me. So tight. Whew. But when their hands accidentally slip and come up and it somehow is close to your dress and under your dress and it's an accident, the girdle was there. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. Please like, comment, share, join the walk in the morning. You can listen to me or put your headsets on. You can listen to me and put your headsets on. So, I had no idea of the joys of womanhood. And the thing that got me the most, but the damage was already done, was when me and Martin, we used to sit down and talk about menstrual cycles. To him it wasn't, to her it wasn't a curse. To hear Martin talk about her menstrual cycle is like it's the best thing that could ever happen to a woman. And again, I'm looking at him, I'm like, really, Martin? I just left an intense Southern Baptist cult meeting. I want to tell you something. They said that it's a curse. They said it's a curse. They said I was unclean. That's what they said. Martin started laughing. He thought I had told the biggest, she thought I had told the biggest joke in the world. And I was very serious. I was like, because that's when a woman is unclean. He was like pissed. She was like pissed, Todd. What are you talking about? That's how you know. That's how you know you can make life. And I was like, never looked at it like that. Now, when I first started my cycle, I know I lost like tons of men. When I first started my cycle, it was introduced to me as being something that all women have, not to be ashamed of, not to feel other way, just let it flow. I never had a problem with it. Went to my Muslim father and my stepmother. She made it very clear. It's just a thing of nature. You just have to have this stuff and you do it like that. And I was like, wow. And then I went down south with my grandmother when she came to get me. And I went down there, and the first time I had it, and she said, you got your curse. I was like, I got a curse? She said, yeah, you got your curse. And I have had severe cramps, illness, throwing up, passing out. When that, because in my head, remember it's a curse. And curses rack your body and make you sick and all that kind of stuff. So once a month, I was sick as a dog because of my curse. Now I'm sitting with Martin, and she's telling me, and the time that I spent with her, she never let me forget how wonderful it is, because I would say, oh, I'm on my men's, or Aunt Red is visiting. I got a lot of names about menstrual cycle from Martin. She knew them all. And he would say, yeah, girl. Oh, I hope you ain't cramping too bad. And I said, no, not too bad. And my menstrual cycle took on a whole different meaning with Martin. She was like, is that a curse? It's the best thing ever. And half my sickness went away. I had like the natural thing, the cramping sometimes. But that whole curse, every time your menstrual cycle come on, you're cursed and you're dying and it's pulling from you and it's a horrible thing. So it was Martin. I tried to tell you, if you have a transgender mom or father, living or dead, if you use Pride Month for nothing else, give them the props, honey. Because I can't imagine what I would be had not I bumped into Martin in my early 20s. I'm probably an old woman hater instead of a woman lover. Not that I'm a lesbian. I'm a woman and I love me. I was taught in the cult that I'm a woman and I'm cursed and hate me. See the difference? But if you have a trans, anything on this side, mother that taught you, supported you, whew, that 20 minutes went by so quickly. Hey, y'all, let's get some water. Let's see. Hey, we on a water break. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Oh, talking and walking and take a lot out of you. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin. Yes, indeed. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Yes, that song gets me moving too. Yes, so that's what you do. This month, get you some incense. Every time I look at T.S. Madison and she home, I look for T.S. Eve. I think about, oh gosh, T.S. Flame. The beautiful T.S. Hope. I think about people in Portchester, Ednam, if you ever look on there. Y'all gotta remember Beverly. She was the only transgender woman that I've seen in Portchester back in the day. And she was proud, and I was proud to be her friend. I couldn't understand. They used to talk about her so bad on the bus. Sometimes it was so bad, and we'd be sitting there talking, trying to ignore them. And she would say, "You want to get off, Vicki, here and walk?" And I'm like, "Okay, it's not so far." And we would walk, and we would have such a good time, just talking about everything, just laughing, talking, just happy to be girls. Oh, so awesome. So awesome. So, that's what I'm doing this gay pride. So I took care of that. So y'all need to burn candles and stuff like that and give your transgender moms or the girls that help you, that have gone to the other side, that are here, or even here struggling. Just send out some good energy to them. Because I'm telling you, Martin had a big influence on my that I didn't even know. You'll see tomorrow at Bed-Stuy Brownstone stories when I read as much. I have 2 one-act plays that I wrote right out of SUNY. I only took 2 courses at SUNY. But right out of, I wrote 2 lesbian plays, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand what made me do it, other than the fact that it was written for the gay boys, and I made it into the black lesbians. Fun, funny, fun, and funny. You're gonna love it tomorrow. It's almost cabaret style, and that's my homage to Martin, because now that I know, now that my memories take me back, I'm going back 40 years. That's a lot of stuff to go back on, and look at. Though when they say you're dying, you do it in a flash. But so Martin, she did a lot for me. And if you have a trans or gay or non-gender or someone before you, someone that walked before you that stood up against all that hate so you can be who you are, send out that good energy. If they ain't here no more, burn a candle, pour some libations. Because I'm telling you, I'm talking this month for my Martin. She's the greatest girl to me. And it's so funny. I was never scared to walk or be around transgender women. I always thought that they more didn't want me around. You know what I'm saying? Because I was corny and I didn't wear makeup. And as Pat reminded me, that Martin used to say all the time, I walk with my hips so stiff. And even if you realize now, I remember my girlfriend Donna. She had went to a chiropractor or something. And she said, Vicki, you gotta swing your hips back and forth when you walk. And I can't do it to this day. Let me tell you something. A few pushes, a few backs, a few fights because of perceived swinging your butt in someone's face. Perceived. The fact that it's okay if he touched your butt because you were swinging it in his face, and you can't understand how you swinging it in his face, it makes you stiffen up so much more. So even though they say, oh, she was swinging it in my face, she was trying to give it up to me, in my head I know that I did nothing to make you touch my body like that. Nothing. So I don't swing my hips. My waist, if I didn't go to the gym, I wouldn't even do swivels back and forth. Because again, then why am I putting my breastises in people's face? So instead of throwing your shoulders back, this is putting your breasts in people's face. This is neutral. You're not putting your breasts in people's face. This is showing off because you got titties. This is, all right, your titties are cursed. So a lot of my movements have to go with how I was raised. And that's how I was raised. That's how it was done. I had my aunt in Harlem, who got rid of the mirrors because she said, and she was taught, God though she was a prostitute. God don't like vain people. And if you have a mirror and you look in the mirror, you are vain. So, I think the last 2 mirrors we had, she got rid of when she caught me looking at myself in the mirror to do my hair to go to school. These cults mess people up, honey. So that was her thing. You can't be vain. So you had to you almost have to walk like you don't care about yourself. And then they'll say, okay, you're not vain. You're not vain. Like you have to walk and kick yourself in the butt or make yourself trip and fall, and they say, oh, no, you're not vain. You're clumsy. If you're clumsy, you don't care about yourself. You're okay. You're safe. Whew. I'm glad I ain't leaving this earth without understanding it's the cults. So, what's my next thing? Yeah, I said that if it's important for the transgenders to be accepted by the cults Jesus and God, then make up your own cult. Have your own congregation. Pass your own offering plates. Yep. And see, then that brings me back. I wrote down I remember my mother, she was Lutheran. Our pastor, Lutheran pastor, Pastor Gutu, started the Church of the Holy Redeemer, which is now, I think, maybe still there, on Linden Boulevard. But it wasn't there. It was a storefront. And he just got people from the community in the storefront. And I remember going to the church in the storefront. I remember running in and out the basement, different things. And then, voila, we're in a big, newly built church on Linden Boulevard with beautiful big pews and open area, not a storefront anymore. Not a storefront at all. And that's where he started from. And the next thing I know, we had a full church. We had people from the pink houses when a lot of the Germans lived there in the pink houses. That's when it was. When I said German, I mean people of German descent. Not a lot of Italians, because the Italians went to the Catholic churches. They went to the Catholic cults. We were with the Lutheran cult. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew. And I didn't know it at the time, but the pastor, Pastor Gutu, came from the Midwest. When I read his obituary, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, it said that he was, I don't know, rugby player or something like that. And he came to New York. And he was in good with the mayor. He got in good with the mayor of New York City. So we used to have, when we were kids, I didn't, you know, as a kid, I don't know that. You get older, you do your research, you talk to people. And we used to have an 18-wheeler that literally, we lived on Montauk in Belmont. Literally used to pull up on Montauk Avenue, open out, and there was a full stage, lights and everything. It was a Cross America tour. I don't know, well, you know when you go to like amusement parks and stuff like that, and they have these people that do little vignettes of Broadway, different things like that, Broadway shows and stuff like that, and sing and perform. We used to have that in the summertime in East New York, where I lived. The lights would go on. Oh, thanks for coming on the walk. the lights would come on, and it would be a big thing. I saw my first comet at night on one of those shows because they would set up in the afternoon into the evening. And then at night when the lights go down, the big lights would come up. And that was Pastor Gutu. Also, a lot of kids from the community went to summer camp in New Jersey. That was Pastor Gutu and the Lutheran Church, because he had the air of the mayor of New York City. And that's how we grew. When we went to Linden Boulevard, we did more Africanism because it was, when everything was Afro, we had Afros. It was encouraged. We started having African dance classes and different things like that. And that's the first religion I knew. Now, the only difference is my sister hated it. My big sister hated it. She's very pretty. You know how pretty she... When we were together, and I would say, that's my sister, they would say to me, stop lying. So she was very pretty. And I guess because Pastor Gutu had an affinity for the younger women. I didn't know it then. I just thought he just liked them because he used to like me. I was a little stupid kid. And my sister would say, like, don't get too close to Pastor Gutu or stay, a little back. She used to give us a warning. And I didn't understand what she was saying because I used to say, well, why I gotta stay away from him? He don't do nothing to me. I wasn't a teenager. So my sister didn't like it. And my older sister. My middle sister, I don't know how she felt. And as I said, when we got older, in our 20s, and we finally got back together after being apart so long, and these are all the things we could talk about. Remember when we used to go to church and Pastor Gutu did this? Remember we used to do this? And I came back from South Carolina, and I ran to my sisters, and I said, sisters! And they said, oh, you're back. And I said, sisters, I was in a cult in South Carolina. I'm so glad to be with you. And they said, oh, you're familiar, but I really don't have any memory of you from childhood. So I'm like, I ain't got no memories of me in childhood. How you don't have no memories of me in childhood? I look just like you. We your sister. But something happened, and they had no memory about childhood. Nothing. Just out because I forgot. When I found out that Pastor Gutu died, I called my sister. And I said, hey, I found out Pastor Gutu died. And she just said, oh, thanks for letting me know. No memory. Yeah, you want to know something heart-wrenching? How about living 12 years with people who don't got no memory of you? Because their childhood memory was so horrible, they forgot it. And they forgot you because you're part of the memory. So we never got a chance to really talk about Pastor Gutu because it wasn't their life. They had a whole bunch of sisters. Whew! My two blood sisters and my mother, they had a whole lot of sisters. I mean, each of them must have had like 10 sisters on each side. Every time I turned around, they was like, oh, this is my sister so-and-so. Oh, this is my sister so-and-so. This is my sister so-and-so. And I'm like, dang. Now, I got two sisters also on my father's side. But that's all I got. They got, oof. So my nieces and nephews, they got so many aunts and uncles. So many. And because they don't got no memory. And also, the fact that when you're raised in a cult society, let me put it like this. The woman that came out and said, my baby daddy, I wish her all the good luck in the world. I wish her all the wealth and success in the world. Because for me, that took away the word bastard. Because in my growing up, on my father's side with my two sisters, they are the product of a marriage, and I am the product of not a marriage. Ergo, bastard. Now, my two sisters of my mother's, she never married their fathers either, but because they were light-skinned, they were able, I don't know, being light-skinned, it gives you a lot of power. So, I was a bastard, and they weren't. So they just call me bastard all the time. They could. Because in society, though they were the same, it's just that they were really light-skinned. And a lot of things didn't apply to them. It was like that when I got here. So, I was saying that to say, we're not close. And it all went back to from when I came out the womb. It all started from there. Ain't that something? How can something that they say bring families together not do it? Doesn't bring them together. That's the biggest farce ever. If your family member doesn't come to church on Sunday, don't speak to them. That's how it was. You wanted to eat, you showed up at church. You needed a pair of new shoes, you showed up at church. And they would have no qualms not giving it to you if you didn't show up. So you just put on your girdle and your Playtex bra and you go and you let the pervs at the church cult to bump into you, accidentally move their hand across your butt, accidentally fondle your chest. That was another one. That was a good one. That elbow used to go up. Oh, excuse me, did I touch your ass? But the arm swinging one, how that could catch you right between your legs. Now that was a miracle. That should have been videoed. But once you knew that you had that Playtex girdle on, wasn't nobody getting really close to anything. Whew. It was dangerous. It was dangerous. I know exactly what Leah Remney and all these other folks is talking about with these cults, honey. It's something. Ooh. But I'm here, and so are you. We're doing our hand exercises because we don't use our fingers. Remember how you used to type? It used to be all over. Well, that's the old typewriters. They don't do the psh no more. It automatically tabs. Oh, we hit just return. Okay, so let me do that. Psh, return. Psh, return. Or you just, and then now you're retired, and you don't do so much of that. You do more like this. Or more like this. So some of y'all should be on here definitely exercising your thumbs, because you do use them, but definitely stretching them out. Definitely stretching them out, like I should do my toes. Whew. All right, let's see if we can knock out 10 on each side. Squeeze your gut. Tuck in your elbow. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And one for good luck. Whew. Now, shake it out, shake it out. You like them churchmen. Catch you right in the coochie. All right, squeeze your gut. Tuck in your elbows. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And one for good luck. Whew. Yes, indeed, y'all. Hey! I think I'm going to take that music director back. She got a little better. Yes, indeed. Please like, comment, share. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Thanks for the company. Ha ha. Yeah, y'all, yeah. So happy to be born. Hey, Juneteenth is coming. Ha ha. But we gonna talk about that. Tell you about remembering slavery that I used to do every Juneteenth, along with my offering. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend, subscribe. Join me at 7 o'clock, Monday through Friday, for a 45-minute walk. Yeah, y'all. Whew. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Thanks for the company.